I've seen this interesting video from Masculine Theory, which is basically a YouTuber who talks about hormonal inputs in men and masculinity. And the video I saw was where he explained how testosterone levels and managing what you eat in a way that you stay hungry, intermittent fasting or just not overeating, is super important if you want to maintain and create a good drive for yourself as a man and as an entrepreneur. So that's something I need to do myself, thinking more about that, especially both sides, but especially like the food thing, because I've been kind of doubling in comfort in the latest months because I've had like a little bit of a burnout. And right now I'm just trying to create a state where I can have more energy, have more drive, but in a way where I can maintain it and where it's not based on just I need to get there, I need to get there. I want to be able to maintain it. So for me, it's going to be about creating a state where I can eat and I feel good, but I never satiate myself. It's like he says, and it's like also Andy Elliott says, you need to stay hungry, right? This doesn't mean you need to starve yourself, not at all. But it does mean you can't overeat, and you always need to feel like a little bit of that hungry feeling. Because when you eat lightly, you eat healthy, but you eat lightly, you're gonna have a lot more energy. For me, I didn't feel this initially because I was like dieting too strong in the beginning, and I'm like, that's not a good thing either. But when you eat healthy, you eat enough, but you eat lightly, you're gonna notice that your body needs to digest your food less as well. And that saves a lot of energy in my experience. And so right now I'm just focusing on having like a healthy amount of sleep, creating those 8 energy levels again, managing my food better, not overeating, eating healthy. And I feel like that's the most important thing I can do for getting back to progress in my business. Because I've been stagnating for a while. And so I want to get back there. And the most important thing that's going to allow me to do that, I think, is just watching my health, watching my food intake, and being conscious about how I feel as well. Like when I feel like things are getting, when I feel like I have a difficult time, I just need to step back a little bit and be able to sort of like meditate it out or feel it out, but not resort to eating, not resort to watching YouTube, not resort to any of those things. Sometimes I feel like those things actually help me because sometimes I feel like I do need that comfort or I do need those impulses. Questionably, but sometimes I do feel like you need that. But I think the best thing is if you can create a state for yourself where you just, like I said, like lightly hungry, and then you just keep going. You create a stable state of energy for yourself. And I think that's the best thing you can do to see progress. Because otherwise, if you're always like, this is me, when I've been always like pushing, I do difficult work, I do hard work for a period of time. But then it's like, after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year, I crash and it becomes difficult to get that momentum again. So in a certain way, it is natural that you always have the ups and downs and the waves in your progress. But I think personally, the more you can stabilize it, which doesn't mean flatline, but stabilize it, stabilize your improvement, then I think that's better because for me, when I crash, it's hard to get back to momentum. I know eventually it comes back, but it's always like a period of time where I kind of like regret not being able to get my inputs well, not being able to manage my business well, and just feeling less motivated. So that's important for me to find that stability. And so, yeah, I don't know if it's just right now that I'm feeling like when I watch my health, when I watch my food, when I watch my sleep, I'm noticing like real strong benefits when I do that. I wouldn't say I always notice that, but right now I do. But the truth is, usually I do have that thing more in order. So I think, sometimes I kind of let myself go as well. And then, I guess it's natural that you notice more benefits when you try to get it back in order. But yeah, it's not just about eating healthy foods. That does help a lot. If you stop eating hamburgers, if you stop eating fries, if you stop candy, beer, whatever, just eat healthy, you're gonna probably notice like great benefits once you get used to it. But then it goes further than that, right? You also need to not overeat. And you also need to maybe try intermittent fasting. That's not a necessity, but you can try it. And also you need to watch your digestion, because digestion takes a lot of energy. And for example, I notice over the noon when I have my meals with oatmeal, if I eat too much of that, I notice it takes me energy and time to digest it, and it becomes more difficult for me to do my cold calls, just because my head isn't in the right place. Also at night when I eat and I eat heavy, I need to get back calling up my appointments, and it's difficult to do when it's difficult to do when you overeat, because your energy it's all over the place. And so sometimes you think you just need grit, you just need to do it. It is part of it, but if you don't have a solid foundation, you're never going to get there. Now there are maybe some counterexamples, some actually quite a fair amount of successful entrepreneurs are fat. I don't know how they do that. For me, that doesn't work. I really need to watch my intake, my health. So that's important for me. So I would say try it. I think you're not just gonna notice significant improvements in your business, but also in your personal life. Just be willing to stick it out a little bit, because you are going to need some time to get used to that. Because in the beginning, when you're not eating well and that you're trying to transfer to eating healthier, it's gonna take some time to adjust to that. Even though you're eating healthier, your body isn't used to it, so it's gonna be difficult for you mentally at first. But when you stick with it 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I think eventually you will get used to it, and it will become easier. And not just that, but you're gonna notice the benefits of eating healthier. And if you're serious about improving your life, or you're serious about your business, then I think you will probably not want to go back to the way you lived your life before, to the way you ate shit. You want to eat healthy, you want to take care of yourself, because if you don't have the right foundations, you're never going to be able to reach the top levels of your performance, of what you're capable of. right? I think Elliot Hulse used to call this, you want to become the best version of yourself, right? So if you don't take care of your inputs, I don't see how that can work. And I'm telling you, I'm noticing very, very good benefits right now. So I'm gonna just maintain that, and hopefully I can get back on track with my business in a more stable way than before. So you guys, I know I've been rambling like a little bit in this video, but hopefully also I was able to share some good information with you. Let me know if you like this one, if you want to see more like this. Check out my next video if you want. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one. Cheers.